Growing up, we always had a mom who was very generous, and she would often point out situations where people were in need, and she would highlight it to us and I guess kind of prompt us and challenge us with how we were going to face that situation. So I naturally feel like I am wired this way, but becoming Christian, it just all clicked into place, and it made so much more sense to me that we have a generous, kind, good Father who has given us so much in his Son Jesus, and it's out of that space that I often want to serve others and look for the need around me. And so I often find myself in situations of being blessed, thinking, how can I bless other people? How can I use my privilege for the good of those around me? So I started an Instagram page called The Giving Space in about 2020, where it was a time where I could just see there was so much need around us, and a lot of the formal structures that had previously been there to help people were no longer there. How the Giving Space account works is we will profile different causes with a photo with the person's permission, with a little bit of a blurb of what they are needing, where they are looking for assistance. And whoever feels like they want to give can give, and they just reference that person's name. I tally up the money, and then we hopefully meet the need. One of the great examples of this was a single mom and her son last year. She was waitressing at the time, and her 10-year-old son came to the hospital where my sister works as a doctor, and she just got chatting to my sister around how her son had been diagnosed with asthma. And just after a few minutes, my sister realized he didn't actually have asthma. He had severe anxiety and was presenting with panic attacks because his mom was unable to pay school fees and the school was threatening to kick him out. So we were able to pop her onto the Giving Space, and within 36 hours we had raised 30,000 Rand for them for school fees, which meant that they were able to pay for the school fees for the rest of 2022 as well as for the whole of 2023. And it was just the most incredible picture of God's generosity towards this family and this mom in her parenting journey. And we didn't know it at the time, but she had been praying for months for God to meet this need for her, and she'd had quite a rough time of it with being scammed of money and just not being able to meet the need and not knowing how she was going to be able to pay these school fees. It was just an incredible story of how a young boy's life was changed, and he's doing so much better. He is no longer presenting with the anxiety like he was, and it was just incredible to be a part of that. I have been burnt along the way, and I think it's in those moments God has really met me, and he has reminded me that I don't just give because of the suffering that I see around me. I give because he's called me to give, that he's called all of us to give. This is not about me. This is just something that I started because I got chatting to a few friends and a few people saying that they would love to give towards something that they trusted, something where they could see a face, they could see a name, and they knew exactly where their 100, 200, 300 Rand was going. But anybody can do this, and I feel like at the end of the day it's about acknowledging that there is a lot of need around us in South Africa, and we cannot turn a blind eye. So much of humanity is accepting that there are people suffering around us, and we get to use our privilege for good. We get to extend what we have to share that with other people around us in our spheres.